All right, let's dive into one of the wildest true stories I think I've ever heard. We're talking about a hack that absolutely shook one of the most powerful intelligence agencies in the entire world, right to its very core.
Imagine you get a phone call, and the voice on the other end just calmly says this: "I've hacked all your systems." Well, back in October of 2015, that's a phone call that actually happened.
And you might be thinking, okay, this has got to be some rival government, right? Maybe a master spy from a movie? Nope. The person hearing this incredibly chilling message was the director of the Central Intelligence Agency himself, John Brennan. And get this, the person making the call? A 15-year-old kid, thousands of miles away. This wasn't some silly prank call either. This was the climax of one of the most audacious, unbelievable cyber breaches in history. So how on earth did this even happen? So before we even meet the hackers, let's just take a second to understand the stakes here. We're talking about hacking the CIA. I mean, it's one of the most fortified, buttoned-up intelligence agencies on the entire planet. It's supposed to be impossible.
To give you an idea of their level of paranoia, the CIA is so secretive that even the Starbucks cups inside their headquarters are completely blank. No logos, no names written on them, nothing that could possibly be used to trace an agent. So a security breach isn't just a data leak, it's a massive, monumental embarrassment.
So who could possibly pull something like this off? A team of elite state-sponsored super hackers? No, it was two teenagers, literally operating from their bedrooms.
So, meet our main characters. On one side, you have a 15-year-old in England who goes by the alias Kraka. He's the leader of a group called, and you gotta love this, Krakas with Attitude. And on the other side, you have Default, a really skilled hacktivist from Virginia in the US.
So let's look at Default's backstory for a second. His journey actually started with video games, just cheating in games like Counter-Strike. But things escalated, and fast. He taught himself how to use botnets, which are basically these huge armies of infected computers that he could control from anywhere. And he started launching these massive, politically motivated attacks. He was getting really skilled and really daring.
So you've got these two guys, Kraka and Default, living on completely different continents. They don't even know each other. But one huge global event was about to bring them together.
And that event was the Edward Snowden leaks back in 2013. This was an absolute bombshell. The news that intelligence agencies were spying on their own citizens, secretly collecting all this private data, well, it made a lot of people furious.
And for hackers like Kraka and Default, this wasn't just news. It was a call to arms. They found each other online and they bonded over this shared anger. Default wanted revenge for what he saw as a violation of privacy. Kraka was more focused on US foreign policy. But they had this one shared goal. They were going to teach the CIA what it feels like to have your secrets exposed to the world.
So this is the million-dollar question, right? How did they do it? Well, here's the kicker. It wasn't some crazy, sophisticated piece of code that could break through the CIA's digital fortress. They didn't hack a computer system. They hacked a person.
And what they did was just a masterclass in what's known as social engineering. It's really just a fancy term for being a good con artist. It's all about exploiting human trust. First, Kraka finds out the CIA director uses Verizon. Then, he calls Verizon's internal tech support line, pretending to be another Verizon employee. When they ask for a PIN to verify who he is, he gives them one he'd already hacked. And just like that, the Verizon employee on the other end, thinking they're helping a coworker, just hands over everything. Brennan's account number, his address, the last 4 digits of his bank card, the whole shebang. And that was the final key. With those last 4 digits, Kraka could answer the security questions on Brennan's personal email, and boom, he was in, full control.
Now, once they had all this sensitive data, they didn't just sit on it. They started to leak it. And the fallout was immediate, and it was immense.
Kraka just started dumping the personal information of thousands and thousands of government agents online. We're talking 9,000 agents from the Department of Justice, 20,000 from the FBI. I mean, you can only imagine the chaos and panic that caused. And at this point, Kraka must have felt like he was completely untouchable.
But you know how these stories usually go. As the pressure from law enforcement mounted, Default, who is actually in the US, started getting really paranoid. And that paranoia led him to make one single but absolutely fatal error.
You see, while he was intoxicated, he confessed everything to a friend. He actually said the words, "The CIA hack, that was me." And that one little slip of the tongue, that was all the FBI needed.
And after that confession, the dominoes just started falling, one right after the other. The FBI raided Default's home, and during the interrogation, he gave up Kraka's name.
So what happened to them? Well, Default, whose real name is Justin Liverman, was sentenced to 5 years in prison. And Kraka, Kane Gamble, he got 2 years, mostly because he was so young. Just like that, the two teenage masterminds were behind bars.
But here's the final ironic twist to this whole story. Today, both of them are free. And what do you think they do for a living? They work in the cybersecurity industry. The very same guys who famously broke through digital security now make a living building it for other people.
So what's the takeaway here? It's complicated. I mean, they broke some very, very serious laws. There's no doubt about that. But they were motivated by political outrage, not money. It leaves you with this big question. Where exactly is the line between a cybercrime and a digital protest? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining this explainer.